Greetings, Mindcrafters, and welcome to another thrilling Minecraft discussion. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm super pumped to talk about the topic today, which is don't try, just do. And so many people say, I'm going to try and do this, and I'm going to try and do that. Let's say I'm going to try to move the water bottle. Here I go, I'm trying. There it goes, hop, hop, hop. Well, really, that part where I'm saying I'm trying is just I'm not moving the water bottle. It's like code for not doing it. Instead of just pick it up and do it, just do it. There's no trying isn't really a thing. And so it's the doing that's important. And a lot of times I think people get into, especially young adults, but really all of us, get into this sort of fear-based thinking about what if I fail? You know, it's that whole risk-taking thing, right? So that's fear-based thinking, and rarely does anything good come out of fear-based thinking, with really the one exception I can think of escaping sort of imminent danger. You know, you're afraid that, you're about to get hit by a car, so you jump out of the way kind of thing. Other than that, for the most part, nothing good comes out of fear. It just throws a big wrench in things like success and in relationships, in work, at school, or whatever. It just throws a wrench in things. What else did I want to say about that? Greg McGowan talks about too. I'm talking about thinking of creatively speaking. If it's at your workplace, you're doing a passion project or something, in addition to scratching the fear-based thinking, catching yourself in that and just stopping it, right? And just jumping in and just doing it. Also to be willing to produce rubbish. He talks about being willing to produce rubbish. You just throw it at the wall, And it's interesting because I'm part of a mastermind group, which I've talked about with some of the episodes with all of you, and they're really we talk about our own success style, and for me, that is actually my success style: is throw it up against the wall, just keep throwing it up against the wall, and something will eventually stick. Be willing to create rubbish, and this is a good example of this. Is writing a book or actually doing anything creative, and it doesn't have to be this. You can fill in the blank with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, or redoing your house, interior decor, whatever. But to be willing to just throw it up on the page, throw it up. Doesn't have to be complete sentences. The paragraphs don't have to be quote unquote perfect. To just throw, and whether you're painting or whether you're doing whatever you're doing, be willing to just toss it out there. And also, I like to bring this up especially when my Minecrafters, I have a lot of my in-person class. I have a lot of first years, not all of them, but a lot of first years. And of course, also the seniors can often get wrapped up in fear-based thinking too. I remind them, actually I show them a little quick video. And on there, it's like 7 minutes long. There's a bunch of famous people who most people would know, kind of ageless, not just people that, the fabulous 50-somethings would know. And when they see that, they're like, oh my God. So Michael Jordan is one of those. He did not make his high school basketball team. The rumor is he went home and cried, and then look what happened to that. I mean, obviously you know the story with that. Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, was apparently turned down 27 times from publishing houses, and we all know the story with that. And one of my, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool, diehard, however you want to say, Yankee fan. And one of my favorites, the Babe, right, number 3, Babe Ruth, I think it was 1927, was I think the year he hit 60 home runs. And he also, that same year, also brought home the prize for the most strikeouts ever in the history of Major League Baseball. So that may even be the best example we've got, because you've got to be willing to quote unquote strike out to do to hit a home run. Fit that into whatever, metaphorically, whatever that works for you. You got to be willing to strike out, and that's it. Because if you're not putting your full throttle out there, and you're holding back, you're not gonna have that big bang home run. It's just how it goes. So, okay, so we got to be willing to take the swing. That's what I said. So, opportunity. So failure, and Wayne Dyer talks a lot about this. Wayne Dyer talks about changing our perspective on failure, I guess is the way to say it. And also Sean Aker talks about this. We'll stick with Wayne for a second, because really all failure is an opportunity for growth. And sometimes, depending what you read of Dr. Wayne Dyer's, or whatever you watch, YouTube's of Dr. Wayne Dyer, he'll say it different ways. It's the same thing, but just worded differently. Sometimes he'll even go as far to say is failure doesn't really exist, because We are just human beings. Like, we're people moving around, behaving, acting, however you want to say, producing results. We take an action, it produces results. We take another action, based on that action, it produces results. And it's like branches on a tree, and it sends us off in a direction. So that's really all that we're doing, is producing results. Some of them feel good, some of them don't feel so good, and then there's the whole middle. And then hopefully we're learning from it, right? And then getting our attitude together and making better choices. That when you look at it that way, when we're just producing results that are pointing us in a direction, like branches on a tree, right? You make a choice this way, now the rest of the branches are out of the question. Now you're going off in this direction. Now you have this branch to choose and that branch to choose. When we look at it that way, it kind of, I don't know, in some ways kind of takes the pressure off, because it's not about this big, bad idea of failure. It's just, we're all doing the best we can every day in every way, and we're going to mess up, and then we just, pick up and go forward. Sean Anker would refer to that as falling up. When we fall, we just fall up. Okay, I screwed up in whatever way it is. I made a mistake, and now I'm going to full throttle forward, learn from it, pick up the pieces, and learn from it. So, okay, and then there's another thing. So we have this: get out of the fear-based thinking, change your perspective on failure, and then lastly is to stop comparing yourself to other people. And I think we all do this. I think it's definitely more of a young adult thing, because developmentally speaking, they're in that with the small, what am I trying to say? Silent audience. And I remind them, and I'm super clear that I'm not being condescending in any way, because I would not do that. I love my students. Wouldn't be condescending to anyone, not intentionally anyway. And, teenagers through young adults, because the prefrontal cortex in both sexes that we're born with, the prefrontal cortex is fully developed at 25. That's true for all of us. So therefore, even though obviously a 24-year-old is much farther along than a 13-year-old, there's still, cognitively speaking, adolescence in that sort of way. And so it's important to realize that silent audience thing, which means caring what other people think. We don't want our young adults and teenagers to be saying, "Oh, there I go again. I'm caring what somebody thinks. That's so dumb." Also, you really don't want to be looking over your shoulder, kind of measuring yourself up against other people, because that has your success, all your good feels from your success, being outside of you, being external. We don't want to need external approval in general, and you certainly don't want it attached to your success. So bring that stuff right back in the living room. And here's the thing, that successful people, they're just not running their lives on what other people think. I mean, that's just a fact. They're independent of the good opinion of others. Wayne Dyer says that. I love how he says the good opinion of others, because this means, we often think, we don't want to hear whatever negative they're going to say, evaluating whatever it is I'm doing to be successful. It's not just that. It's also the positive stuff. The positive stuff can feel good. That's great, but we don't need it. That's the whole point. When you are on your authentic path, living your best self, following your passion, just pursuing that authentic sense of purpose, you don't need anybody's opinions, good or bad. They can feel good, the good ones, but then who cares? Because here's the thing, is successful people do not get into social comparison. They do not give a fat rat's ass what anybody else thinks. Why? Because their eye is on the prize. Their eye is on the prize because they are focused on pursuing their authentic path and just their own personal best. That is the best way to say it. So there you go. That is it. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.